In a small town nestled between rolling hills and sprawling fields, there lived a doctor named Samuel Hartman. He was known far and wide not just for his medical expertise but for his unparalleled kindness. Dr. Hartman had inherited a modest practice from his father, who had also been a beloved physician in the community. From a young age, Samuel had learned that healing was not merely about treating ailments. It was about nurturing the spirit and fostering trust. Every morning, as the sun cast a golden hue over the town, Dr. Hartman would set off on foot to his clinic, a quaint building adorned with climbing ivy and a weathered sign that read Hartman Medical Practice. The air was often filled with the scent of fresh bread from the bakery down the street, mingling with the earthy aroma of blooming wildflowers. The townsfolk would greet him with warm smiles and waves, for he had a special way of making every person feel seen and valued. Dr. Hartman had a routine that was as predictable as the seasons. He would start his day with a cup of herbal tea, brewed from a blend of herbs he cultivated in his small garden. Afterward, he would review his patient list, which often included not just the sick, but also those seeking comfort, advice, or even companionship. He never turned anyone away, regardless of their ability to pay. His heart was as open as his practice, and he believed that kindness was the best medicine. One particular winter, the town was hit by a severe snowstorm. The roads became impassable, and the townspeople were confined to their homes. Dr. Hartman, however, was undeterred. He donned his thickest coat, wrapped a scarf around his neck, and set out on foot to check on his patients. He trudged through the snow, his breath visible in the frigid air, and visited each home, ensuring that everyone had enough food and medicine to weather the storm. As he made his rounds, he encountered Mrs. Thompson, an elderly widow who lived alone. She had run out of her heart medication, and her frail figure was hunched over with worry. Dr. Hartman, without hesitation, rummaged through his bag and handed her a few extra pills he had brought along, knowing they would tide her over until the storm passed. Mrs. Thompson's eyes filled with tears of gratitude, and she clasped his hands, thanking him profusely. That evening, after a long day of making sure everyone was safe, Dr. Hartman returned home, exhausted but fulfilled. He lit a fire in his small living room and sat in his armchair, reflecting on the day. He thought about the people he had helped, the smiles he had seen, and the warmth of human connection that filled his heart. It was moments like these that he cherished the most, and they accumulated like blessings in his soul. As the months passed, the storm faded into memory, but the bonds he had strengthened endured. The townspeople often spoke of Dr. Hartman's selflessness, and many began to emulate his kindness. They organized food drives, helped each other with chores, and formed a tight-knit community that thrived on compassion. Dr. Hartman had ignited a spark of goodwill that spread like wildfire, and he became the heart of the town. Years went by, and as the seasons changed, so did the lives of those around him. Young children grew into adults, and new families moved into town. Dr. Hartman welcomed them all, treating each new patient with the same care and respect he had shown from the beginning. He often found himself reminiscing about the early days of his practice, marveling at how the community had transformed. One day, a young boy named Oliver came to see him. Oliver had been diagnosed with a rare condition that required a specialist, but his family could not afford the travel expenses. Dr. Hartman sat with Oliver and his mother, listening intently as they spoke of their fears and hopes. Without hesitation, he offered to cover the costs, explaining that he would not let finances stand in the way of a child's health. As Oliver's treatment progressed, Dr. Hartman became a source of strength for the family, providing not only medical advice but also emotional support. He would often stop by their home to check on Oliver, bringing small gifts or simply spending time with them. With each visit, the boy's laughter filled the room, and the bond between them deepened. Months later, after a successful treatment, Oliver's family organized a small gathering to thank Dr. Hartman. The townspeople came together, bringing dishes to share, and the air was filled with laughter and joy. As the sun set, casting a warm glow over the gathering, Oliver took to the makeshift stage and spoke about the doctor who had saved his life. "Dr. Hartman is not just a doctor. He's a friend, a hero," he said, his voice steady and clear. "He showed me that kindness can heal just as much as medicine can." Tears welled in the eyes of many, including Dr. Hartman, who stood at the back, humbled by the outpouring of love. In that moment, he realized that his accumulated blessings were not just the acts of kindness he had given, but also the love and gratitude that returned to him tenfold. As the years rolled on, Dr. Hartman continued to practice medicine, but he also became a mentor to young doctors who sought to follow in his footsteps. He shared his philosophy of care, emphasizing the importance of empathy and the power of connection. His legacy grew, and the town flourished, bound together by the principles he had instilled in them. In the twilight of his life, Dr. Hartman often sat on his porch, watching the children play and the families gather. He reflected on the journey he had taken, the lives he had touched, and the community that had blossomed around him. He understood that every act of kindness he had offered was a seed planted in fertile soil, and the garden of goodwill had grown into something beautiful. As he closed his eyes, a soft smile graced his lips. He knew that he had received far more than he had ever given. In the end, it was not the accolades or recognition that mattered, but the love that had accumulated in his heart, a testament to the kind doctor and the blessings he had shared with the world.